Previously, I had made a video on the same hand, but I had talked about some other lines. But in this particular palmistry video, we would be talking about the Mercury line, the Sun line, and the Lifeline in this particular palmistry video. This person wants to write a book, and to see if a person can be a good author, we should first look at the area of Mount of Mercury. Mount of Mercury signifies communication and calculations, skill. And communication can be of any kind. It can be written, it could be facial communication, or just verbal communication. And Mercury also represents not just the communication part, but the calculation part as well. It represents the statistics and economics, biology, chemistry, anything to do with where calculations are involved. Now this person is in designing, so even in designing also you need these particular skills. But specifically he wanted to know if he can be a very good author, and he wants to write a book. This is what basically he dreams about. So to look at this particular thing, we basically look at the area of Mount of Mercury, and if there is a standing straight line, this is a standing straight line. If we find this kind of a formation under the finger of Mercury, it is considered to be a positive sign. Now there are many people, they may have multiple lines, or they may have very weak and barely visible lines. So those lines are of little use. Like a person can have this kind of a line. I'm just zooming in. This kind of a very dim and dull, unclear kind of lines and broken up into pieces. So those are of little use. And if they're crisscrossing, it is basically bad. But in this particular case, what we find is that the quality of the line on the Mount of Mercury is good. And whenever we find the quality to be good, we automatically say the chances brighten up for their success in whatever field they wish to basically go to. So a deep and clear Mercury line represents an ability to communicate in a very effective way, and their calculations and communication can never go wrong, and they can write something, their own subject, the subject to their liking, they can write in a very effective way. And because they have been doing this from the past, it's not that the person becomes an author suddenly. They have to have that knack of writing. Even when the person is a child, they should have a knack of writing an essay or something like this. So the person has been sharpening their skills on a daily basis. So a person who sharpens their skills on a daily basis automatically become better in their writing abilities. So this is what I can say regarding the Mercury Mount. Now, as I had talked earlier, that I would be speaking about three lines: Mercury line, Sun line, and the third is the Lifeline. Now we come to the Sun line. I'm just drawing first. This is the money line, which is going towards the Mount of Saturn. This is also known as the fate line. Now this particular line that I'm drawing in the blue, this particular line is the Sun line, and this portion is not so clear, but it becomes much more clear out here. So this is the heart line, or the semen line, whatever you may say, because his hand is different. So that's the reason why I'm particularly saying heart and the semen line, or the headline, whatever you may say. Semen line is a combination of two lines, the head and the heart merging into one. So this portion of the line is above and after the age of 44. So the quality of the line becomes much better after the age of 44. This is when it becomes much more deeper and clearer. The deeper the line, the better it is considered to be, because Sun line, whenever it is deep and clear, it basically signifies that there is clarity on the path this person wants to travel on. So deeper and clearer lines means that there is a very clear-cut path. When the line is a little bit dim, you would notice that this particular portion is a little bit dim, and the earlier portion is also good formation. So there's a portion in life when the line of sun becomes a little bit dull, a little bit unclear. So whenever it is dull and unclear, we would say that there could be few doubts and self-doubt that may come about in their life. It is basically just means lack of clarity during the course. When the line is unclear, when the line is deep and clear, it signifies great clarity. Now, other palmists, they would, once they see, once they notice this kind of a line, they would automatically say good name and fame. Some other palmists, see, different palmists would read the line in a different way. They would say either name and fame line, or this is a line of luck. I normally say no, this is not the line of luck or the name and fame. It is all about your clarity. And once you have clarity in the work that you are doing, you automatically are going to become more successful, because you would be the best in the work that you are doing. And because there's clarity, automatically things are going to happen according to your wishes, because you're giving all your energies to your work. So in a hidden way, yes, this thing is seen as a positive line, provided it is deep and clear, and it would bring you name and fame. And at the same time, some people would think, oh, I've got name and fame probably, so this may have to do something with the luck. I don't talk much about the luck part. I just talk about how much energies the person is able to give to their work, and that is basically the main cause of their success. So this is basically my reasoning. And see, and you would also notice, apart from this particular line that I am talking about, there are few parallel lines as well, which are running parallel to the main line. Something like this, one or two lines are there apart from this. There are smaller lines as well. We are kind of going to ignore that particular line. We are just going to concentrate only on the deep and clear lines, which are of great significance. So this line, and another line. So there are three lines. So one line means the person is in one field of work. Two line means that some parallels field of work basically they develop, and that is the reason for this their success in that particular other field as well. So all these two or three lines are good. So I would rate it to be a good kind of a line. Now the earlier portion of the line, this is the earlier portion of the sun line. Normally what happens is that the sun line may not kind of originate on the mount of moon. This is the mount of moon. It may not originate. It is very rare to have this kind of a line in some person's hand. And people may not even have a long sun line. But in this case, it's a long sun line. So long sun line means throughout the life, things have been good. And the person has been successful right from an early age. The person has been famous right from an early age itself. So this is what I can say. But it's not that if you have a short line, it is a negative line. I don't say that a short, if you just had only one line, I wouldn't say that is a negative sign. Even a long line can be considered good, and a short line can be considered good, provided it is just deep and clear. So as you must have seen my older videos, I'm speaking about the sun line, where I just find a sun line out here, and I would say that success would be there throughout the life, provided this line out here under the finger of sun on the mount of sun is good, deep and clear. Now I basically move on to the other line. The person has mentioned his age is 60 years old. So the person could be somewhere. This is the lifeline. On the lifeline, you would notice that one line is kind of going inward and one line is going a little bit outwards. So and there's another line that is kind of moving out from the main lifeline. This is the main lifeline. So a line is moving outward. Lines that join into the main line are good. It means gains. The lines that move out is bad because it is outgo. It is outflow of energy or stamina, or this particular line may refer to something like the health issues that may come about could be in the lower portion of the body, something to do with the water part, with the water element in the body. And I always say that the simpler the line towards the end, the better it is basically considered to be. This new image basically opened up. I'm just going to close this image because this image quality is not so good. So I'm just closing this image. And the quality of this image is fairly good, but let me just go to the other images that I have. I just opened up another hand image of this particular same person. Sometimes when you send the hand image, things are not clear, but in this particular hand image, the sunline is appearing to be much more clear out here. And this kind of a line is for throughout the life. Now, I did mention that the line is a little bit unclear in this particular portion. So probably due to lighting, lights and all, the hand image has not come out to be perfect at only this particular portion. So for that, I'm referring to this particular hand where the quality of the line is not appearing to be anywhere bad out here. This particular portion is not so bad. So throughout the life, things should have been good. So when the sunline originates on the amount of moon, it may have to do with help from females or work or associations with foreigners, trading activities, service industry. This person is in like government service, something to do with the designing part, but I'm just explaining all the options that are there. And like the person also wants to write, so the person gains from public appreciation. So if a person writes something, so probably he would be appreciated by a larger audience. A bigger audience would basically appreciate their work. So and from that perspective, I would say that writing can be good. Now this line may not necessarily only be for writing skill. A person can be an actor, a person can be a trader, a person can be in service industry. It could be anything, but because the person had asked me that he wants to be a writer, so from that perspective I would say it is considered to be a good sign. Now as the person age is 60, so probably he is somewhere at this particular point or maybe a little bit further on the lifeline. This is the lifeline. So 60 age is represented somewhere at this particular point. So here what's happening is, apart from this particular lifeline, there's another lifeline that is kind of overlapping, and there's another one that is overlapping out here. Overlapping lines are good, but lines that kind of move pointing towards the amount of moon, they may not be good. But overlapping lines or a lifeline that is overlapping something like this can be considered to be good, because it is encircling. It is something like, imagine a situation that this is something like a rope, a jute rope. I don't know if you know what a jute rope is or not. Consider this as a rope, and sometimes the rope opens up, so this portion of the rope is going to weaken. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to convey to you. But if the line is kind of encircling, then it is not considered to be a bad. So that's the reason why, from the point of view of health and other things, overlapping lines are considered to be good, and open lines are considered to be, outward lines are considered to be a little bit negative sign to have. And just moving on to another hand image that I have. So this is another hand image that I have. This image is showing a little bit a few things different from what I had visualized in the other hand image, and these outward lines I have already explained, these are negative. Few lines are kind of originating on the area of Mars negative. This is the line that I'm referring to. So these are a little bit negative lines. So I would advise the person to be cautious regarding the health perspective. They need to be extra careful regarding the health, because horizontal lines kind of The reason why I say so is because consider lifeline is something like you are traveling in a car, and a horizontal line is something like this, touching the lifeline or almost reaching the lifeline. It is something like you are traveling in a car, that's a blue line, and the green line is basically a truck and a cycle or a scooter or a ship or a plane coming and striking your car. So these are kind of can be seen as a roadblock, or they can be seen just as a few problems that may come about in one's life. So you need to be a little bit careful from that perspective. Although, as I had mentioned, this overlapping line kind of negates the negative impact of the horizontal line to some extent. So this is what I wanted to convey out here. I'm just opening few other hand images. Briefly, I'm just taking a look at the left hand as well. And talking about the lifeline, you'd notice the line has stopped somewhere out here. So, and there's an overlapping line. So overlapping lines I've already explained. This is good indication to have. Underlapping, if the line was somewhere underlapped, something like this, then it would have been bad. Overlapping line is good. So you need not worry regarding this, but still take care a little bit. This hand image, not so good. Just selecting the best possible hand image that we have out here. Now even this hand is different from a normal kind of a hand. Normally people don't have such kind of a formation of lines. I have already explained in my previous video, a normal hand would look like something like this, one headline and another heart line. But in this case, what is happening is that there appears to be a semiline line, although not a perfect semiline line. A perfect semiline line is something like only one particular line, which is kind of merging in of two lines, the head and the heart. But that is not the case, not 100%. So what is happening out here is that this is the line of head, which is okay. But this heart line is kind of coming and touching the heart line. Now these two lines should not join each other. It is something like, imagine a situation, you have two live wires and you are kind of touching those wires. So it is something like spark basically flying. And it is considered to be negative because it is indicative of misplaced affection. Misplaced affections means being affectionate to somebody who is not worth your affection, giving your time, effort, energy to somebody who is not worth it. So see, already you are at 60, so probably you have seen the life, lots of things. So this tendency has to be negated. So in that way, it is you need to be careful. As far as this particular headline is concerned, it is not so clear before the age of 35. It becomes a little bit better after the age of 35. So this portion is better compared to this particular portion. But there is one good sign on your palm, and that is this particular line, which normally normal people do not have this kind of a formation of line. And this line is originating on the mount of Jupiter, and Jupiter is the area for power and position, respect and honor. So this particular line that is rare to find could be seen as a line of high position and honor coming to this particular person. Now, as far as the sun line goes in the left hand, the quality of the sun line, this is the quality of the sun line in the earlier portion before the age of 50. So this portion from 35 to age 40, 44 to 53 is not so good. But this portion of the sun line becomes excellent. And it becomes even better after the age of 53. This point is age 53 at the intersection of the heart line and the sun line. So this is age 53. So it becomes even better after the age of 53 according to the left hand. I'm not talking about the right hand. Right hand, it's throughout, it is good. But we have to refer to the left hand to some extent, not to a major extent, to a small extent. We should refer to the left hand as well. So what happens is the quality of line starts to become better after the age of 45, 46, but it becomes the line becomes more straight after the age of 53. So that's when things can become even better. Now, although I may have called this particular line to be the heart line, yes, to some extent it is, but even this is the heart line, and this is the kind of head. So it's a combination of many mixed kind of a formation, which is hard to find in most people cases. And double heart line makes a person maybe more emotional, more sensitive, and the person's heart is traveling in two different boats at the same time. So there could be some kind of a confusion that is also happening. And I did mention in the previous video that normally we would consider this to be the heart line and this to be the head line, and it is kind of a semi-line. And this line is normally the line above the heart line is called, in this formation, is called the girdle of Venus. But this is not a purely girdle of Venus. This is just a sister line to the main heart line. So this is what I can conclude regarding the hand. The Mercury line, the line for skill and calculation communication, is good in the left hand as well. So both hands are showing similar indications. So that basically solidifies whatever I've spoken about the Mercury line. Moving on to another hand image that I was provided, and let me just zoom in. And out here you can see the quality of the lifeline has improved significantly somewhere around the age where the person is. This is when it becomes very good. At least in this particular hand image, I can see that the quality becomes, it overlaps. So overlapping lifeline can be seen in one different perspective. The last thing that I would speak about in this particular video, the reason why I say it is considered to be good is because let's take a case scenario where only this particular line is present, something like this, and there's no overlapping line. There's no overlapping line. So if this is the formation, so it would mean, let's take it is encircling two planets, the Mars and the Venus. Mars is the area for fire. This is the area for fire, anger, aggression, and this is the area for vitality, stamina. This is the area for Venus and the desires. Okay, now what happens out here is significant. Is suddenly what happens, another line basically overlaps. This is a sudden formation. So when this happens, so what happens is more area come under the influence of the planet Venus. So more area coming under Venus means more energy is coming into that particular Venus, particular person. So it is basically upliftment of your life, and something major happening that basically brings about great turn around in your life. So this is what may be indicated by such a line which is overlapping lifeline. So small indication can talk about major things, and those indications may not show up. Even your career possibilities may not all show up on your money line or the sun line or the Mercury line. They can also show up on your headline, your heart line, as well as the lifeline. And I would just end the video here. Hopefully you liked it. Thank you for watching. I would be answering your questions. Bye. Thank you. Bye and take care.